Welcome to my note-taking course, and I'm going to teach you how you can be empowered as a learner. So let's be empowered. Let's be inspired to take really good notes. So, hello and welcome. And I hope you're ready to learn what it is to be really active in your learning as a note taker. Because there are many issues that people face. People tell me these are their problems. These are the things that they deal with when they come to taking notes. They have lots of issues. For example, they do take some notes, but because they don't have great handwriting, when they go back to their notes, what they find is that they can't read what they've written. So there's an issue with legibility of their notes. If your handwriting is a mess, you need some tools to help you to take good notes so that it doesn't matter too much that you struggle to write really clearly. So perhaps you have these really good notes and you can read them, but you can't make sense of what you've written. And in that respect, although you've got a set of notes, they're not useful. So taking good notes is all about having notes that are useful. And what do I mean by useful? I mean that you can go back to them. You can have a question in your mind about that session where you were learning, and you can answer the question because your notes are good and they help you to answer that question. Writing good notes is a way to write a memo or a letter to your future self. And that's the secret. Do you have notes that you can look back on that are useful, that are giving you the information that you need in the present, even though you wrote those notes in the past? So there are two main scenarios that we're going to deal with on this course. Note-taking for situations where you're listening to a speaker and you need to be able to retain some of that information. Perhaps you're on a course, an academic course, or perhaps you're just listening to someone who speaks regularly and you're in a training scenario. Maybe you need that information for a later date. You need to take some good notes. Or perhaps you are doing some research and so you've got lots of books or a few books in front of you and you're trying to get some information so that you can write an essay. You're answering a question, you've got this project or this assignment, and you need to take good notes while you are doing your research. So the aim of this course is to give you several options, different methods that you can try that are going to help you to make better notes. I'm going to help you to do that because I want you to be able to write a letter to your future self, a memo to your future self that will help you in the future based on information that you are gleaning right now. So who is this course for? Are you perhaps a student? You're in an academic environment where you are taking notes on a regular basis. So you need to be able to, in that higher education system, or further education system, you need to be taking notes on a regular basis. Perhaps for work, you're in a training environment where it would be a good idea to make a note of some of the information. Or perhaps you're someone who sits in church or another institution where you're listening to a speaker that's telling you something that's really interesting and you want to be able to capture some of that information in note form. So I hope that by doing this course, you will find information that's going to help you to be prepared for these learning situations that you're going to find yourself in. I want you to be empowered as a learner so that you can be proactive rather than reactive when you're in those learning situations. I believe it's really important to arrive at the learning scenario ready to learn. And when you do this, what will happen is you will listen well. You'll listen well, you'll be relaxed, and you will be able to take from the person that is speaking, the teacher or the lecturer, the information that you need. You will basically find that you will not have to panic. You'll be able to arrive relaxed. You'll be able to take your learning to the next level. I call this course Next Level Note Taking. And if you do the things that I recommend that you do, follow the hints and tips that I provide for you, you will never again be stressed about taking notes, because you will learn the why, you will understand how, and you will go into learning situations prepared to take notes that I guarantee are going to help you in the future. You'll enjoy the learning process, and you will be one of those people who will not be flustered in your learning. You will be able to help not just yourself, but help others. And in this session, you're going to learn how to be a better learner. And in doing that, be a better note taker. You're going to take responsibility for being a good learner. You're taking responsibility for your own learning. Because when you're in control of your learning, you are going to be the person who is empowered. You are going to be the person making the most of every single learning opportunity. You'll be going into these sessions knowing what it is that you need to find out. You'll be going into sessions with questions in mind. You'll be going into these sessions with an understanding of what you need for the future. I'm going to give you some essential information before you start. There is one handout that you're going to need that I've provided for you. So take some time to download that handout or create it for yourself on paper. You also need to know that that handout is something that you can replicate digitally as well if you want to. There are other handouts and resources that you can use, and what I'm asking you to do now is take a few moments to print those things out so that you've got them ready to use during this course. I advise you to have them to hand or create them digitally in a way that you would prefer to use them. I'm going to explain how you're going to use them today. Okay, so note-taking is one aspect of independent learning, just one aspect. And by the end of this course, you'll understand why you need to be better at note-taking. You'll also know how to be better at note-taking, and you will be able to use the information that I give you to help you to do a bit of self-assessment, a diagnostic if you like, so that you can make choices about which resources are going to work for you and which methods you would like to try, so that you can use them in the future, in the next encounters that you have where you need to do some note-taking. Good notes, the best notes, are the ones that work for you. So I recommend that you try the different strategies that I'm going to put before you, and I recommend that you find and be flexible about how you take notes until you find what works to you, what works for you. I think as well that I'd like to recommend to you that you handwrite your notes if at all possible.